Back at Happy Valley on Wednesday night ahead of a Group 1 weekend at Sha Tin. It's Standard Chartered Champions in Cheetah Cup Day on the weekend. The St George's Challenge Cup for us though at Happy Valley midweek. A very warm welcome to Racing to Win. I'm Andrew Lejeune, joined in the studio here by Brett Davis, our race caller and form analyst, and race caller Tom Woods as well. Tom, good card. I'm looking forward to Wednesday night. Yeah, the last race is a real good race, Andrew. Class 2 over 1,200 metres. Two-thirds of the field have been able to win a race this season. Tornado Twister's been able to win at least 3 on the programme. High Five's been able to win a few. Fat Turtle going around there. Fortune Booth, they were close up. Well, Fortune Booth was able to win last time out. So strong race, the last. It certainly is. And Brett, you're slipping into Paul Lally's sizable shoes.
Yes.
What do you got for
and sizable chair too, but I'm a good fit for it, apparently. He tells me, Andrew. Looking forward to the card. It should be a nice night at the Valley weather-wise, and there is a jackpot in the 6 up $1.2 million, so there's a bit of extra money floating around. As Tom's highlighted, and yourself, it's a good quality card leading into what will be a fascinating weekend.
It is 11 races on the weekend on Sunday at Sha Tin as well.
Yes.
Got plenty to, the Griffins are back, Athero, of course. Plenty to get through here today, though, in terms of the Happy Valley programme. Before we do all that, though, let's look back on the weekend's action with our racing review. Now, Big Party was the highlight, and it was a big party as well for Zach Purton with 4 winners on the afternoon. This is his first time jumping on the grey. He was disappointing last time, and he disappointed on debut, but he was back to his brilliant best here. He certainly was, Zach. You can just see sitting very quietly there on him, moved up on the outside of the early leader and just went on by basically hands and heels over the concluding stages. Got out to a margin of about 3 lengths. So Highland Fortune, the red cap, whacked away nicely for second. That's Mr. Croissant out deep. We thought it would be a match race between those two, and in the end he bolted up. Good to see him back in winning style. Yeah, he did win well, didn't he? Just like the way he let down there over that 100 metres where he just accelerated away, put the race to bed, was very impressive. I can remember when Paul put this up from track work, actually, prior to his first start, which he did fail at. Ironically enough, he failed first up this prep too, so they're the 2 little chinks in his armour. Outside of that, he's a winner. He's had a setback or 2 along the way, but Frankie Law's just having another outstanding season, and he's got some really nice horses in his stable. This one could be going all the way to the top. He's definitely group company. How much further than that he can go, whether he can go Group 3 into 2 and 1 eventually, we'll have to wait and see. But he looks like he's got all the attributes to go a fair way. He certainly does. He's got a massive engine, hasn't he, Big Party? And he was the big mover as far as the ratings were concerned. As I mentioned before, 1 of 4 for Zach on the afternoon. Red Warrior scored at massive odds in the last. Uncle Steve, another one for Purton. Diamond Brilliant there as well. And London Hall went back-to-back too. Yeah. Good old Gracious Rider as well at a price from a good low barrier. Bobbed up, he can be tricky to find. And Rich City Fortune, they've had a reasonable season with him. A bit of fun and games and a few major checks for the connections down there in Class 5. He was Jimmy Ting's second winner, and he's delivered again. Yeah, and he's got some good runners on Wednesday night as well, Jimmy Ting, which we'll get to in due course. Those are the big winners on the weekend. We'll see if we can find some more now with our horses to follow. All right, this horse of yours, Brad, he's one you've had on the radar for a little while now. I've thrown him in the tips once or twice before. Telecom Rocket. He's only having his 4th start here. Me Choi trains. Grant Van Neerkerk, the rider. And so far, he's been kept to the shorter trips. You can see him back there. He's being pushed on. He has gained some improvement and, closer territory to those winning at each start. But he is by Tavistock, and he's out of a keeper mare. So there's room for improvement. You just see there, 1,000 metres is way too short for him. He's getting some experience in the process. Just keep an eye on him, keep following. He might be a next season horse, but I do think there's something there. All right, maybe stepping up in trip as well. What do you got, Tom? I went with Win-Win 33 coming out of the 6th race. You can see him, he's back there on the fence. He's trained by Ricky Yu, Matthew Poon, the rider. Wasn't really going anywhere at this point, but he's run home in 22.50 for his last 400 metres. So that was the 3rd quickest in the race. Still at this point here, he's not really going anywhere in a hurry, but it was sort of the last 150 metres when he picked up and let down nicely over the concluding stages. I don't think he'll be too far away from snaring a decent placing. He hit the line okay there. Yeah, that was Gracious Rider. Hitting the line best of all. For me, I'm going towards race number 9 and Beauty Icon. So there's 2 beauty horses in this. Beauty Day closer to the pace. Uncle Steve's the eventual winner, just getting out now in the blue and white seats. But you can see Beauty Icon, the blinkers down the rail, just held up, nowhere to go, just for a moment or so, and then the gap appears. Cheers Vanquisher does roll back in again there momentarily. So there's just a third start here in Hong Kong. Guriao was his name when he raced in New South Wales as a winner there, and fourth in the Champagne Stakes as well. So down in class now. I think he could be a winner very shortly. And Uncle Steve, Douglas White was in the winning photo with him on the weekend.
Douglas has got a bit of an association and affiliation with Uncle Steve. His last ride, there he was in the photo as well.
Yeah, well, there you go. Those are the horses to follow out of the weekend action. As far as the stewards report is concerned, Alain Mayer, Righteous Mate, in proper use of the whip, so he picked up a $5,000 fine, and Grant Van Niekerk on M. Reborn, going back last week as well. 2 days, 8th to 13th, and at 35,000. OK, I think we're pretty much up to date. As far as the scratchings are concerned, though, one horse out of Wednesday night's programme at this stage. That's race number 6, Honest Way, is replaced by Ballistic King. Keith Young in the saddle. So that's race 6, number 3. So this is meeting number 74 of the season. We're on the B course at Happy Valley. 8 races. Race number 1 is a Class 5 over the 1650. Our one and only Class 5 for the night. Sees the Spirit and Wicker both into Class 5 for the first time. Let's Go Free gets the blinkers back on. Megatron can roll forward. He's got barrier 12. Same could be said of Come On Wong Choi. He's got barrier 11 though. Master Bernini jumps from the 5 and Berta Rispoli in the saddle. 0 from 19 for him so far. Bonito was a last start course and distance winner. And Gobi Storm 0 from 29. But he's been runner-up 3 times course and distance. He's come up with barrier number 2. Come On Wong Choi is the horse that's been up at Chung Fa within the last 30 days, Tom.
Yeah, looking at the speed, good here. Benito was able to lead all of the way and win last time out. He's got Grant Van Niekerk on again from gate number 6, so he should be able to be up on the pace. We know that Come On Wong Choi can race forward. He was over 1,800 metres last time out. Gobi Storm, Little Fantasy, they like to race relatively handy. And Megatron, who's got some speed, he's got gate 12, which makes it a little bit awkward for him and Martin Harley.
2 that drop in class here, Sees the Spirit and Wicker. Zach Burton's going to jump aboard Wicker. Hasn't done a great deal so far from 6 starts, but he does move OK in the mornings. So there is your opposition here, and another crack at the 1650. Happy Valley might be what he's looking for. Benito had been threatening all season to win one. Finally happened for him last start, and he certainly held his form. He's got a better barrier. So you'd go into to him again if you won last start with a little bit of confidence, judged on what he's continued to do in the mornings. And Gobi Storm works well. Matthew Chadwick knows him well. He's drawn low. He is the lowest rated galloper in the race, and surprising he probably hasn't won one considering he's had 3/3, but he's holding his form in the mornings and probably gives a shout from a low gate.
All right, OK, let's look at a couple of them in action, starting off with Seize the Spirit. This is 2 starts back, behind Sank on Sank, into Class 5. A repeat of this, he's got to go close.
Yeah, he surely does. This was a good effort. He boxed on pretty well over the concluding stages. You can see him there, Sank on Sank out wider. He's in the white cap just behind them there, running on. He missed out last time out. He was beaten 5 lengths. He got taken on at the 650 and really challenged, and he only battled in the straight, but not a bad performance, getting into Class 5 for the first time.
Finding the line there. The next start they rode him and led, and he weakened out of a beaten 5. Behind True Grit, another horse is going well. So touch of patience early, I agree. He's got to be in the finish, surely.
All right, we've got a few to tick off here with Bonito winning, Gobi Storm, Megatron, Let's Go Free and Wonderful Tiger. Yeah,
you need some fast eyes here. We know that these horses are not real consistent, but it's fair to say when these Class 5ers do find a bit of form, sometimes they can take an eternity to find it and actually win one, like Bonito. They can continually run well for a start or 2 after, and I think both he and Gobi Storm are in that category and deserve an opportunity.
It probably doesn't mean a lot, but we know that Peter Ho's got a good record in the first race. He didn't have a runner in the first race at Happy Valley last Wednesday night, but here he is again with Benito.
He's on a real roll along, Peter.
Taking the young Peter. He's back with a vengeance here. Little Fantasy, Joe Moreira, Manfred Mann.
Yeah, he's been boxing away OK. Joe's having his first ride on him last time out. He was over the 1,800 metres. You can see him there. Tried to chase down Best Effort, who was able to win. He's been pretty consistent, but he just hasn't been able to get that right sort of game to strike.
No, he's one that's found some form, but he just hasn't managed to find a win. He's had 1 from 40, 15 goes in the class. The best he's ever done is 3rd. Just shows you how much his form has regressed, because that win, that sole win's actually in Class 4, but it's just so long ago that it's hard to be confident.
All right, OK. But Bonito is our favourite to go back-to-back.
He is. and I ended up siding with him too. I just think a better barrier for him this time gives him an opportunity to be sort of in a forward spot, maybe not necessarily leading like he did last start, and he won't have to burn petrol early like he did last start, so he should get it every conceivable. I think Let's Go Free is a horse from barrier 1 with blinkers going back on that you can consider. He is a 2-time winner from 6 starts in the class, sees the spirit for the reason we mentioned before, and I put Wicker in as well because he's the other one that drops in grade. I think Little Fantasy with Joe Moreira's record on Class 5 is definitely worth a mention, but 1 win from 40 doesn't read well. 10-4, 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm in the camp of Benito as well. Number 10 for Peter Ho and Grant van Niekerk finally broke that maiden status last time out. Over the 11, Little Fantasy, he's been consistent without striking. Wicker into Class 5 for the first time. Zach Purton, Richard Gibson. Zach's had 4 wins this season for Richard and a few other minor placings. I threw in Megatron as well. Might get caught wide if he can't get in, but he hasn't been running badly recently, Megatron. So 10, 11, 2 and 5.
All right, similar sort of numbers for me. I included Open House, though. I think now down in Class 5, blinkers on from barrier 7. He could be worth an each-way shout as well. All right, that's the opening contest. Class 5. The feature race comes up as race number 5 on the programme. Class 4 for us next, though. That's race 2.